She woke up screaming Marcus's name. Again. The same nightmare, the same flames, the same moment she reached the apartment building and knew, just knew that she was too late. That her baby was already gone. That she'd failed the one person who'd needed her most. Kendra's hand shot to her chest, feeling for the chain that wasn't there anymore, the one that had held Marcus's baby ring, the one that had burned with everything else. Her shoulder screamed where the bullet had torn through 3 days ago, but the physical pain was nothing, nothing compared to the black hole in her chest that never stopped consuming her from the inside out. Kendra, Tajun's voice cut through the darkness. She hadn't heard him enter, hadn't heard anything over the sound of her own ragged breathing and the phantom crackle of flames that lived in her head now. He stood in the doorway of her recovery room, backlit by the hallway, and she hated that he was seeing this. Hated the witness, hated that she was still alive to wake up screaming. "It's 4 a.m., she said, her voice wrecked. "What do you want?" He stepped inside and closed the door behind him. In his right hand, he held something small. In the dim light from the single lamp, she couldn't make it out. "We found something." He moved closer, and the light caught what he was holding. A tiny piece of tech, no bigger than a grain of rice. "In your boot, the left one." Kendra went very still. Cold flooded her veins, washing away the heat of the nightmare, replacing terror with something sharper. Colder. "A tracker," she said, not a question. "Military grade, satellite linked." Taejun's voice was flat, professional, but his eyes were watching her carefully. "Broadcasting your location every 30 seconds. We swept you when you were unconscious after the first surgery. Found it embedded in the soul." The room tilted. She gripped the edge of the medical bed with her good hand, feeling the world restructure itself around this single piece of information. "How long?" Her voice came out barely above a whisper. "Based on the model, could have been there for months. Maybe longer. 8 months. Since Atlanta, since the night Marcus died, since the night she ran. They'd known. The whole time. Every city. Every safe house. Every moment she'd thought she was escaping. They'd been watching. Letting her run. Letting her exhaust herself. Playing with her like a cat with a mouse. And the whole time, she thought she was the hunter. She'd been the prey. "Why tell me now?" She looked up at him, seeing the calculation in his eyes. "You found this 2 days ago. I wanted to see what you'd do." He sat down in the chair beside her bed, the one Minho had been camping in every day. "If you'd run again, if you'd try another escape." "And you didn't." He opened his palm, and the tracker sat there like an accusation, like proof. "You stayed. You trained my men. You made a promise to my son. So now I'm asking you." His eyes met hers, dark and unreadable. "Who are you really running from, Kendra Hayes? And what do they want badly enough to track you for 8 months without making a move?" She stared at the tracker, at the tiny piece of tech that represented 8 months of false hope. 8 months of thinking she had any control, any choice. "They want me dead," she said. "But first, they want what I know." "Which is?" "Everything." She looked at him. "Names, dates, transactions, 6 governments, Taejun, weapons trafficking, child trafficking, contracts on civilians. I have encrypted files that could bring down officials in the US, UK, France, South Korea, Japan, and Australia. I have recordings, photographs, bank transfers, everything." His expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes. "And they've been tracking you for 8 months without recovering this information because I didn't just run. I set up a dead man switch. The files are encrypted on a server with a countdown timer. Every 72 hours, I have to input a code, or everything gets released to every major news organization simultaneously. WikiLeaks, The Guardian, The New York Times, everyone. And if you die? Same result. The code requires my biometric data, fingerprint and retinal scan. If I'm dead, the timer runs out. Everything goes public." Taejun leaned back in his chair, processing. "So they can't kill you without triggering the release." And they can't capture me without me triggering it manually out of spite. She smiled, bitter and sharp. I've built the perfect trap. For them and for me. I can't die and I can't live. I just exist in this limbo, running, until they figure out how to break the encryption or I finally grow the balls to push the button myself. Is that what you were doing in Seoul? Working up the courage? The question landed like a fist. She looked away. I came here to fade away. Thought maybe if I just stopped inputting the code, stopped fighting, the contractors would get what they wanted and the information would go public anyway. Mutually assured destruction. Everyone loses. Except you'd be dead. That was the point. Silence stretched between them. Outside, she could hear the compound coming to life. Guards changing shifts, the kitchen staff preparing breakfast, the ordinary sounds of a criminal empire waking up. The tracker changes things, Taejun said finally. They've known where you were for 8 months. Seoul, this compound, everything. Which means they're planning something bigger than just killing me. Kendra's mind was already racing, pieces clicking into place. They could have hit me any time in the past 8 months, Atlanta, Paris, Bangkok, Seoul. But they waited. Let me run. Let me think I was safe. Why? She looked at the tracker in his palm, at the technology that had betrayed her, at the proof that she'd never been free. Because they're not trying to kill me anymore, she said quietly. They're trying to break me. They want me to input that code willingly, to hand over the encryption keys, and the best way to break someone isn't violence. She met his eyes. It's hope. Let me think I'm safe. Let me start to build something. Let me care about something again. And then take it away, over and over, until I'm so desperate for it to stop that I'll give them anything. Understanding dawned in Taejun's eyes. Minho, they know I saved him. They know I'm here. They know... Her voice cracked. She forced it steady. They know what happens when someone threatens a child in front of me. They've been watching me for 8 months. They know exactly what buttons to push. Taejun stood, paced to the window, stared out at the compound grounds where his son was probably still sleeping, safe and unaware. Then we remove the buttons, he said. How? He turned to face her. You said you have a dead man's switch. A timer. How long do you have? 36 hours. I input the code yesterday morning, right before the siege. And if we don't input it, the files release. Chaos. Every corrupt official I have dirt on gets exposed. Some of them will fall, some of them will fight back. All of them will want me dead even more than they already do. But they can't track you anymore. He crushed the tracker in his fist. We found this. We can sweep for others. Clean you completely. They'll know the tracker went dark. They'll escalate. Let them. His eyes were cold, calculating. You want to stop running? Then we don't run. We release the information. We burn their world down. And then we deal with whatever comes next from a position of strength, not fear. She stared at him. You're talking about starting a war. I'm talking about ending one. Your war, the one you've been fighting alone for 8 months. He moved closer. You stayed, Kendra. You made a promise to my son. So let me make you one. You give me names. I give you protection. You release those files and I make sure you live long enough to watch every single one of those bastards fall. You don't know what you're offering. These people have resources, governments, militaries. And I have something they don't. He held her gaze. I have you, the woman they've been hunting for 8 months. The woman they're terrified of. The lioness. The nickname hung in the air between them. I'm not a hero, she said. I don't need a hero. I need a weapon. And you... He gestured to her bandaged shoulder. You took a bullet meant for me 3 days ago. You protected my son like he was yours. You're already in this war, Kendra. The only question is whether you fight it alone or with an army at your back. She wanted to say no. Wanted to tell him he was insane. That releasing the files would paint a target on everyone in this compound. On Minho. On him. On every single person who'd shown her even a shred of kindness in the past 3 weeks. But he was right. She'd already stayed, already chosen, already let herself care about an 11-year-old boy who smiled at her like she was something other than broken. 36 hours, she said. When the timer runs out, everything goes public. Every name, every crime, all of it. Then we have 36 hours to prepare. Taijun extended his hand. Are you in? She looked at his hand, at the choice he was offering, at the difference between running and standing. She took it. I'm in. If you're already hooked, hit that subscribe button. This story is about to explode. Drop a comment. Would you release the files or keep running? The sun was barely up when Taijun gathered his inner circle in the compound's briefing room. Kendra stood beside him, her shoulders still bandaged but her posture straight. 20 men filled the space, his most trusted lieutenants, the ones who'd fought beside him for years. Jin was there, standing near the front, his sharp eyes tracking every movement she made. The young fighter had appointed himself her unofficial student after watching her destroy his colleagues in training. Now he nodded at her, a gesture of respect. Listen carefully, Taijun said. His voice cut through the low murmur of conversation. What I'm about to tell you stays in this room. Anyone who has a problem with it can leave now. No one moved. Good, he gestured to Kendra. Some of you know her as the woman who saved my son. What you don't know is why international contractors have been hunting her for 8 months. What you don't know is what she's carrying. Kendra stepped forward. 20 pairs of eyes locked onto her. I have evidence, she said. Her voice was steady, clinical. Encrypted files detailing weapons, trafficking, child trafficking, and assassination contracts involving officials in 6 countries. The contractors who killed my son work for these people. They've been tracking me for 8 months, and 3 days ago, they found me here. One of the older lieutenants, a man with gray in his hair and scars on his knuckles, spoke up. Why haven't they just killed you? Because I set up a dead man switch. If I die, or if I don't input a code every 72 hours, everything I know goes public. WikiLeaks, major news outlets, everything. And you're telling us this because? Because in 34 hours, I'm letting the timer run out. She let that sink in. I'm done running. The files go public. Every corrupt official I have evidence on gets exposed, and when that happens, they're going to come after me with everything they have, which means they're coming here. The room erupted. Taijun let it go for 10 seconds, then raised his hand. Silence fell. This is happening, he said. The question isn't whether we fight. It's whether we're prepared. Kendra has agreed to train you. She has skills you've never seen, tactics that will keep you alive, and we have 34 hours to get ready. Boss, the gray-haired lieutenant said carefully. You're asking us to go to war with international governments for a woman we've known for 3 weeks. I'm asking you to protect my son. Taejun's voice went cold. She saved Minho's life. She took a bullet meant for me. If you have a problem with that, leave, now. No one moved? Good. Training starts in 1 hour. You do what she says. You learn what she teaches. Your life depends on it. The training was brutal. Kendra pushed them through hand-to-hand combat drills until their muscles screamed. Weapon disarms, tactical positioning. She demonstrated techniques with ruthless efficiency, her shoulder protesting but her body remembering. Jin absorbed everything. The others struggled but learned. By midday, they were exhausted. She was bleeding through her bandage again, but the men were better. Sharper. Minho appeared at the edge of the training yard during a water break. Can I try? He asked. Every head turned. Kendra's first instinct was to say no, but she'd promised him. Basic self-defense only, she said, and if your father says no... He said to ask you. Minho grinned. She spent the next hour teaching him stances, how to balance, how to create distance if grabbed. Nothing offensive, just survival. When he finished, beaming with pride, Taijun appeared. Well done, he said to his son. Can I keep learning? Taijun looked at Kendra. After everything settles, if she's willing. I'm willing, Kendra said. Then to Minho, tomorrow. I promise. The word felt heavy, dangerous, but looking at his face, she meant it. That evening, she found Taejun in his office, staring at maps of the compound. They'll hit us before the timer expires, she said. They know I'm here. They'll try to grab me before the files release. I know. I've tripled the guards, set up kill zones. We're as ready as we can be. It won't be enough. When they come, they'll come with overwhelming force. Military-grade assault. Then what do you suggest? She studied the maps. We don't stay here. We move, keep mobile, make them chase us. Where? Anywhere. Everywhere. We leave in 6 hours. Skeleton crew stays to make it look occupied. We take Minho and your best men and we disappear. To where? Eventually, your fortress, the one you mentioned. Your kinsmen. Taejun was quiet. They won't accept you easily. You're an outsider. A woman, black. They're traditional. Old-fashioned. I don't need them to accept me. I need them to obey you. It's not that simple. Then make it simple. You're their leader. Lead. He looked at her for a long moment, then nodded. We leave at midnight. Pack light. Be ready. At midnight, 3 black SUVs rolled out of the compound. Taejun drove the lead vehicle. Kendra sat beside him. Minho was in the back with Jin and 2 guards. The other vehicles carried his most trusted men. 15 total. They left the compound lit up, guards visible on patrol. Anyone watching would think they were still there. Where are we going? Minho asked, excited despite the late hour. An adventure, Taejun said. We're going to see your uncles. At the fortress? Eventually. First, we take the long way. They drove through. Seoul's empty streets, switching routes, doubling back, making sure they weren't followed. Kendra watched the mirrors, her instincts screaming at every shadow. Talk to me, Taejun said quietly. Keep me sharp. So she did. She told him about Marcus, about the time her son had insisted on wearing his dinosaur costume to the grocery store, about his gap-toothed smile and infectious laugh, and Taejun told her about Yuna, about her terrible cooking and beautiful singing, about how she'd wanted to save everyone. They talked until the city fell away behind them, until they were on mountain roads, climbing higher, the world shrinking to headlights and darkness. Minho fell asleep in the back. Jin kept watch, silent and alert. Thank you, Taejun said finally. For what? For staying, for trusting me with your story, for... He stopped. For being here. Where else would I be? Running, like you've been doing for 8 months. I'm tired of running. Good, because we're in this together now, whatever happens. Whatever happens. The words felt like a promise. They stopped 3 hours later at an abandoned building deep in the mountains. Taejun's men had used it before, a way station, off the grid, with supplies cached inside. We rest here for 4 hours, Taejun said. Then we move again. They filed inside. The building was cold, empty, but defensible. Guards took positions. Kendra checked the perimeter while Taejun settled Minho into a back room with blankets. He's scared, Taejun said when he emerged. He should be. We all should be. He asked if you were leaving. What did you tell him? That you weren't, that you promised. Taejun moved closer. Don't make me a liar, Kendra. I won't. They stood there in the darkness, exhaustion pulling at them both. Jin was organizing watch rotations. The other men were settling in, and, for a moment, in the quiet, it felt almost peaceful. Then Kendra's phone buzzed. 22 hours left. We should sleep, Taejun said. You sleep. I'll take first watch. That's not... I can't sleep anyway. The nightmares. Better to be useful. He nodded, understanding. Wake me in 2 hours. We'll switch. But she didn't wake him. She let him sleep while she kept watch, her mind racing through scenarios, calculating odds, preparing for the war she knew was coming. Jin joined her on the roof at some point. Can't sleep either? He asked. Too wired. Me too. He laughed quietly. This is insane, you know? Running from governments, fighting contractors, following you into war. You can still leave. Taejun would understand. No, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. He looked at her. You're going to save us. All of us. I know it. I'm going to try. That's all anyone can ask. They sat in companionable silence until dawn broke over the mountains, painting the sky in shades of fire that reminded Kendra too much of Atlanta, of smoke and flames and loss. But she wasn't alone anymore, and that made all the difference. They moved at first light, back in the vehicles, winding through mountain roads, heading north. Taijun had a route planned, places they could stop, defend if needed, but mostly just keep moving. Like we're nomads, Minho said. He'd woken up bright and energetic, treating this like an adventure instead of a flight for survival. Exactly like nomads, Kendra said. She was teaching him breathing exercises in the back seat. Simple mindfulness techniques to stay calm under stress. Can you teach me the forms again? The ones from yesterday? In the car? Just the hand movements, please. So she did. They worked through the sequences slowly, her correcting his positions, Minho concentrating with endearing intensity. Taijun watched in the rearview mirror, something soft in his eyes. You're good with him, Jin said from the third row. I had practice. He loves you. You know that, right? Don't. I'm serious. He talks about you constantly. Kendra taught me this. Kendra said that. You're the first person since his mother who's made him feel safe. The words hit like bullets. Kendra felt her throat tighten. I'm not his mother. No, but you could be something just as important. Before she could respond, Taijun's voice cut through. We have company! Kendra's head snapped up. In the side mirror, she saw them. 2 black SUVs, closing fast. How long have they been there? Just appeared, must have been waiting at the junction. Contractors? Or police? Hard to tell. Assume contractors. How far to the next defensive position? 15 kilometers. There's a choke point. Narrow pass, easy to defend. Can we make it? Not if they want to stop us. The lead vehicle accelerated, trying to close the gap. Taijun floored it. The mountain road was treacherous, narrow, winding, sheer drops on one side. Everyone hold on, Taijun barked. Kendra twisted in her seat. Jin, get Minho on the floor, now! Jin moved fast, pulling the boy down, covering him with his body. The other guards raised their weapons. Don't fire unless fired upon, Kendra ordered. We don't know who they are yet. The pursuing vehicles were gaining. Then the first shot rang out, a bullet sparking off their rear bumper. Contact, one of the guards shouted. Return fire, Taijun commanded. The rear window shattered as the guards opened up. The pursuing vehicles swerved but kept coming. They're trying to disable us, not kill, Kendra said. They want me alive. Well, they're not getting you. Taijun took a hairpin turn at speed that would have terrified anyone else. The SUV's tires screamed. Behind them, one of the pursuing vehicles wasn't as lucky. It clipped the guardrail, spun out, crashed into the mountainside. One down, one to go. But the remaining vehicle was relentless. Professional driver, trained. This wasn't some hired gun, this was military. The choke point, Kendra said. How narrow? 1 vehicle width, maybe. When we get there, stop. Block the road. We make our stand. Trust me. He trusted her. 2 minutes later, they hit the choke point. A narrow pass carved through rock, barely wide enough for 1 SUV. Taijun slammed the brakes, spinning the vehicle sideways to block the entire passage. Everyone out, defensive positions. They piled out. Kendra grabbed Minho, pulled him behind a boulder. Stay here, do not move, do you understand? But, do you understand? Yes. Good. Boy! She ran back to the vehicles as the pursuing SUV screeched to a stop. Contractors poured out. 6 of them. Tactical gear. Professional. Federal agents, one of them shouted. Stand down. Bullshit, Kendra muttered. She'd seen enough contractors pretending to be feds. We just want Kendra Hayes. Hand her over and nobody gets hurt. Taijun stepped forward. She's under my protection. You want her? You go through me. Don't be stupid. We have authorization. Kendra emerged from cover. Authorization from whom? The officials I have evidence on? The ones about to go to prison when my files release in... She checked her phone. 18 hours. The lead contractor's face tightened. So it's true. You're releasing the files. Every single one, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. We can kill you. Try. My finger's off the biometric scanner for more than 30 seconds. The timer accelerates. I'll be dead and the files will release before you can get my body warm. It was a bluff, but they didn't know that. The contractors exchanged glances, uncertain. Then one of them reached for his radio. Kendra moved, fast, inside his guard before he could react. She twisted his arm, took his weapon, and had it pointed at his head before anyone could breathe. Nobody moves, she said quietly. We're leaving. You're staying. And in 18 hours, your bosses are going to have much bigger problems than me. They'll send more, the contractor said. Bigger teams. You can't run forever. I'm not running. I'm advancing in a different direction. She released him, kept the weapon. Get back in your vehicle, turn around, and tell whoever sent you that the lioness is done being prey. They left. Slowly. Weapons still raised. But they left. When they were gone, Kendra slumped against the SUV, adrenaline crashing. Taejun was there immediately. You okay? Yeah, just... She laughed, shaky. That was stupid. I shouldn't have revealed the timeline. You saved us. That's what matters. They'll be back, with more, before the 18 hours is up. Then we keep moving. The fortress is 6 hours away. We can make it. Minho appeared from behind his boulder, eyes wide. That was amazing. You were so fast. How did you... Not now, kid, but she smiled. Couldn't help it. Later. I promise. They loaded back up. Drove faster now. The clock ticking down. 16 hours left. Still with me? Drop a and hit that like button, because we're about to enter the fortress, and nothing will ever be the same. They drove for 6 more hours, winding through mountain passes, doubling back twice when they spotted surveillance. By the time they reached the fortress gates, everyone was exhausted. The fortress itself was impressive, built into the mountainside, traditional Korean architecture mixed with modern security. Stone walls, guard towers, the stronghold of Taejun's organization. Armed men waited at the gates, lots of them. Taejun got out first, spoke in rapid Korean to an older man, gray hair, hard eyes, clearly someone important. The conversation was tense. Kendra couldn't understand most of it, but she caught her name. Heard lioness. The older man looked at her through the vehicle window. His expression was not welcoming. He's not happy, Jin said quietly. I noticed. That's Dae-sung, Taejun's uncle, very traditional, very opposed to outsiders. Great. Finally Taejun returned. His face was tight. They'll let us in, but there are conditions. What conditions? You stay in the guest quarters, under guard. You don't train anyone without explicit permission. And you prove yourself useful, or you leave. Prove myself how? However they decide. Dae-sung wants to test you. Make sure you're not a liability. And if I fail his test? Then I override him and you stay anyway. But it'll cause problems. Division. We need unity right now. Kendra looked at the fortress, at the armed men watching her with suspicion and hostility, at the walls that could protect or imprison. Okay, she said. I'll play along. For now. The gates opened, they drove through, and Kendra realized she'd just entered a place where being the lioness wouldn't be enough. She'd have to prove she belonged. The compound inside the walls was larger than she'd expected. Buildings arranged in traditional style, training yards, living quarters. A small army lived here. They were shown to the guest quarters, a building set apart from the others. Segregated. The message was clear. I'll get you settled, Taejun said. Then I have to meet with my uncle and the elders. Explain everything. Will they agree to help? They don't have a choice. I'm the head of this organization. But respect matters, loyalty matters. I need them to understand why you're here. And Minho? With me, he'll be safe, I promise. After they left, Kendra explored her quarters. Spartan but clean, one room, one bed, bars on the windows. Not a cell. But close enough. Jin appeared in the doorway. I'm supposed to guard you. So I'm a prisoner. You're protected. There's a difference. Is there? He didn't answer, just took up position outside her door. Kendra lay down on the bed, staring at the ceiling. Her shoulder throbbed, her body ached, and the timer on her phone kept counting down. 12 hours left. Then everything changed. She must have dozed because she woke to shouting outside. She jumped up, grabbed the weapon she'd taken from the contractor, and moved to the door. Jin was gone. The compound was in chaos. She stepped outside. Men were running, weapons being distributed, alarms blaring. Taejun appeared, striding toward her. They're here. The contractors? An advance team. They hit the outer perimeter. We repelled them, but they'll be back, with more. How did they find us so fast? I don't know. But they did. He grabbed her arm. We need to move you deeper into the fortress, the inner sanctum. It's the most defensible position. Or a trap. If they breach, they won't. You don't know that. Then what do you suggest? She thought fast. We don't hide. We fight. Use me as bait. Draw them in. Ambush them in your kill zones. That's insane. That's tactical. They want me. Let's use that. Absolutely not. I'm not risking you. You don't have a choice. Those files release in... She checked her phone. 11 hours. If we can hold them that long, it's over. The world will know. They'll have to back off or face exposure. Or they'll kill everyone here to silence witnesses. Then we make sure they can't. We fight. Together. Like you said. Taejun looked at her. Something passed between them. Understanding. Agreement. The acknowledgement that they were past the point of safe choices. Fine, he said. But you follow my lead. This is my fortress. My men. My rules. Your fortress. My war. Our fight. He almost smiled. Fair enough. They ran together toward the command center. Around them, the fortress was transforming into a battleground. Men taking positions. Weapons caches opened, the machinery of defense grinding into motion. Inside the command center, Daesung and the other elders were gathered around tactical displays. They looked up when Taejun entered, their eyes hostile when they landed on Kendra. She shouldn't be here, Daesung said in English. Probably for her benefit. This is family business. She is family, Taejun said, and she's the reason they're coming, which makes her part of this whether you like it or not. She's brought war to our door. I brought family to safety. There's a difference. Taejun's voice went cold. Now, either help me defend this fortress or get out of my way. Tense silence. Then Daesung nodded slowly. Tell us the plan. Kendra stepped forward, pointed at the tactical display. They'll hit here, and here. Simultaneous strikes to divide your forces. But what they really want is me, so we put me here. She indicated a position in the inner courtyard. In the open. Bait. When they commit to grabbing me, we collapse on them from 3 sides. Trap them in a kill zone. That's suicide, one of the elders said. That's tactics. I've run this exact operation 12 times. It works. And if you're wrong, then I die and the files release anyway. Either way, we win. Daesung studied her. Really looked at her for the first time. You're serious. I stopped running. I'm not starting again now. Something shifted in his expression. Not acceptance, but recognition. You have steel in your spine, Lioness. Perhaps you do belong here. I don't need to belong. I need to survive the next 11 hours. Then let's make sure you do. They planned fast. Kendra laid out the tactics. Taejun's men would execute. Daesung grudgingly admitted her strategy was sound. One thing, Daesung said. If you survive this, you train with our men. Prove you're as good as your reputation claims. And if I don't? Then you leave. We won't harbor someone who can't pull their weight. Fair enough. They shook on it. An alliance forged in necessity. Outside, the sun was setting, casting long shadows across the fortress, making the stone walls look like they were bleeding. Taejun found her on the battlements, checking sight lines. "You don't have to do this," he said. "We can hide you, protect you." "I'm done being protected. I'm done being hidden." She looked at him. "I'm done being afraid." "You're not afraid. You're terrified. I can see it." "Yeah, I am, but I'm doing it anyway." "That's what courage is, right? Being scared and doing it anyway?" "That's what stupidity is." She laughed. Actually laughed. "Maybe, but it's my stupidity. And I'm seeing it through." He moved closer, took her face in his hands. "If you die out there, then you make sure Minho knows I tried, that I didn't give up, that I..." Her voice caught. "That I loved him, like he was mine. Tell him yourself. After this is over. Deal." He kissed her, hard and desperate and full of everything they hadn't said. When they pulled apart, her lips were tingling and her heart was racing. "For luck," he said. "I don't believe in luck." "Neither do I, but I believe in you." The words settled over her like armor. She nodded. "Let's go to war." They came at full dark. 40 contractors. Maybe more. Professional assault team with military precision. Kendra stood in the inner courtyard, illuminated by floodlights. A target. Bait. Every instinct screaming at her to run, to hide, to fight. But she stayed. Waiting. The first breach came at the east wall. Explosives. Gunfire. Taejun's men engaged immediately. Then, the west wall. More explosives. More gunfire. And then the main gate. They blew it with shaped charges, and contractors poured through the gap like a flood. Kendra raised her weapon. Waited. They saw her. Recognized her. Converged. "That's it," she whispered. "Come get me." They committed. 20 contractors breaking formation, rushing toward her, thinking they had her. Taejun's voice over the radio. Now, the trap sprung. Hidden positions opened fire from 3 sides. Crossfire. Kill zones. The contractors were caught in the open. Exposed. Boxed in. It was carnage. Kendra moved. Not away. Toward them. Into the fight. Her weapon barking. Her body moving on pure instinct and training. She dropped 3 contractors before they even registered she'd moved. 4 more went down to Taejun's men. The rest scattered, trying to find cover that didn't exist. And then she saw him. The lead contractor. The one from the checkpoint. He saw her too. "You," he snarled. "Me," she said. They clashed. Hand to hand, brutal, professional. He was good. Better than good, but she was desperate. She got inside his guard, drove her knee into his gut, twisted his weapon away, and put a bullet in his chest. He went down hard. Around them, the battle was turning. Taejun's men had the advantage. The contractors were breaking, retreating, but more kept coming, wave after wave, like they had infinite resources. "There's too many," Jin shouted over the gunfire. He was right. They were being overwhelmed. Kendra ran to Taejun's position. "We need to fall back, inner sanctum, bottleneck them." Already giving the order, they retreated in controlled chaos, fighting every step. Jin stayed close to her, covering her blind spots. The other men provided suppressing fire. They made it to the inner sanctum, a fortified building in the center of the fortress. Stone walls 3 feet thick, defensible. Taejun sealed the doors. "We hold here." "For how long?" Kendra checked her phone. 3 hours left. 3 hours, then it doesn't matter anymore. Outside, the contractors regrouped. She could hear them, planning, organizing. "They're going to try to breach," she said. "Let them try. We're ready." But she could hear the exhaustion in his voice, see it in his men's faces. They'd been fighting for hours. How much longer could they hold? Minho appeared from the safe room deeper inside. His face was pale but determined. "I want to help," he said. "No," Taejun and Kendra said simultaneously. "But no," Taejun repeated. "You stay in that room, no matter what happens. Promise me. Papa, promise me, Minho. I promise. He disappeared back inside. Kendra felt her heart crack. If they didn't survive this, that boy would lose everyone. She wouldn't let that happen. I have an idea, she said. It's crazy, but it might work. I'm listening. We negotiate. What? We negotiate. They want me. I offer to go with them, willingly, in exchange for everyone here going free. Absolutely not. Hear me out. I go with them. But before I do, I trigger the dead man switch early. Release everything. They get me, but it doesn't matter because the files are already out. They'll kill you the second you're in their custody. Probably. But everyone here lives. Minho lives. You live? That's worth it? Not to me? Taijun, no. He grabbed her shoulders. We fight together or not at all, remember? You don't get to sacrifice yourself. Not for me. Not for anyone. But no, she wanted to argue, but she could see it in his eyes. The absolute refusal to let her go. Fine, she said. Then we fight, all of us, until the timer runs out or we're all dead. That's the spirit. The contractors hit them again, harder this time. Shaped charges on the doors, breaching explosives. They wanted in. The doors held, barely. 2 hours left. Another wave, more explosives. The doors were weakening. 1 hour left. The doors finally gave. Contractors poured through. Close quarters combat. Brutal. Personal. Kendra fought beside Taejun. Back to back. Jin on their left. Daesung on their right. A family forged in fire. 30 minutes. They were being pushed back, deeper into the sanctum, toward the safe room where Minho was hidden. 20 minutes. A contractor broke through, made it to the safe room door. Kendra's heart stopped. But Minho wasn't defenseless. The boy had been paying attention. He'd learned. The contractor grabbed for him, and Minho executed a perfect defensive move, the one Kendra had taught him. Created distance, bought time. Jin was there in seconds, dropped the contractor. Kendra wanted to scream, wanted to grab Minho and never let go. But there was no time. 10 minutes. They'd been pushed to the innermost room. The last stand. Contractors at the door. No escape. Taejun's men were wounded, exhausted, but still fighting. 5 minutes. Kendra's phone alarm went off. The timer. She looked at Taejun. It's done. The files are releasing. Right now. Then we've won. We've survived. There's a difference. 3 minutes. The contractors were still coming. Still fighting. But their radios were going crazy. She could hear the shouting, the confusion. The files were spreading, being reported. The world was learning. 2 minutes. The contractors at the door hesitated, fell back. Received new orders. 1 minute. They retreated. Fully. Completely. Out of the sanctum. Out of the fortress. Gone. Silence fell, broken only by heavy breathing and the sound of Kendra's timer hitting 0. It was over. They'd won. Kendra's legs gave out. She sank to the floor, weapon clattering beside her. Taejun dropped beside her. Jin collapsed against the wall. Daesung stood there, bloodied but unbowed, and started laughing. We did it, Jin said. We actually did it. Yeah, Kendra said. We did. Minho burst from the safe room, threw himself at Kendra. She caught him, held him tight, felt his tears soaking into her shirt. You kept your promise, he sobbed. You stayed. You didn't leave. I'll always stay, she whispered. Always. Taejun's hand found her shoulder. Squeezed. Welcome to the family, lioness. Family. There was that word again. This time she believed it. But just as relief flooded through them, Daesung's phone rang. He answered, listened. His face went pale. Boss, he said to Taejun, we have a problem. What problem? The files released, but so did something else. Encrypted communications from the contractors. They weren't here just for her. They were mapping our entire operation, our supply lines, our allies, everything. Kendra's blood went cold. What are you saying? I'm saying the files going public didn't end this. It escalated it. Daesung looked at Taejun. Every criminal organization we've ever competed with just got handed our complete operational blueprint. They know our weaknesses, our strengths, everything. So we didn't win, Jin said quietly. No, Taejun said, his voice hard. We just started a different war. He looked at Kendra. You wanted to stay? Welcome to the fortress, because once we enter this fight, there's no going back. Kendra stood, helped Minho to his feet, met Taejun's eyes. Then we don't go back, we go forward, together. Together, he agreed, and outside, in the darkness beyond the fortress walls, new enemies were already gathering. The war was just beginning. Next episode, where blood is thicker than outsiders, and the lioness must prove she belongs. Don't you dare leave now. Hit that subscribe button and drop a heart if you're ready for the next episode. Comment your theories. Who's coming for them next? Because trust me, you are not ready for what happens at the fortress.